Have you ever heard of PokeRogue? No? In that case, welcome back indoors. I saved a spot just for you. PokeRogue is a Pokemon fan game that is heavily inspired by the roguelike genre. There are various waves of Pokemon battles, ranging from normal encounters to gym trainers to little kids that must be annihilated. PokeRogue is most famously known for their gacha system, which allows you to hatch eggs that range from shiny boosts, legendary boosts, to egg moves. A great example in this video is going to be my shiny Charmander, which, as you can tell, is not the normal shiny, and it also has some pretty good moves that Charmander doesn't normally have. This is just a good example of how this game rewards you for playing and failing and playing again, as your team's just going to get stronger every single time you try a run. I'll explain more of PokeRogue's unique features throughout the video, but for now let's skip the talk and hop straight into how I beat PokeRogue using only starter Pokemon. The starters that I chose for this run were Tier 2 Shiny Charmander, Tier 2 Shiny Squirtle, a regular Grookey, and our regular shiny Piplup. We started this run very strong, obtaining the Dynamax band with our first item drop. PokeRogue offers 3 mainstream gimmicks, from the Dynamax and Gmax, to the Terrassalization, to even the Mega Stones. Getting the Dynamax band early increases our odds of getting the Max Mushrooms, which is an item that allows us to transform one of our Pokemon into the Gigantamax form. But that's gonna have to wait, because now we have to fight our rival, Ivy. Ivy led with her very own starter, Chespin, which has a weakness to Charmander, so we were just able to set up a Dragon Dance before hitting him with an Ember, OHKOing him. She then sent out a Starly, which met the exact same fate, wrapping up our battle pretty quickly against our rival. Shortly after the battle with Ivy, our blue Taki of a Charmander evolved into a larger blue Taki, Charmeleon. This custom shiny looks absolutely amazing. It was then time for Charmeleon to enforce its newfound power upon the first gym leader, Chili. All it took was 2 Earth powers to take down both the Fire Pig Tepig and the Fire Monkey Pansear. This was the first of many massacres caused by Charmeleon's flames. You might have noticed that Charmeleon has the ability Beast Boost, an ability that is usually only available to Ultra Beast, that boosts a certain stat after taking down an opponent Pokemon. Well, this game features not only custom egg moves, but also custom passive abilities. This allows for Pokemon that aren't usually very good to become absolute monsters, capable of carrying your runs. After defeating more waves of Pokemon, the rest of the starter squad leveled up. Squirtle evolved into Wartortle, Grookey evolved into Thwackey, and Piplup evolved into Primplup. The string of evolutions did not stop there, however, as Charmeleon ended up evolving into Charizard. Now, Grookey evolved into Thwackey, and Piplup evolved into Primplup. The color scheme just really does something to my brain. On the wave of our next gym fight, our Thwackey ended up evolving into Rillaboom, giving us a nice little power spike before we take on the next boss. On wave 50, it was time to use our new Charizard against none other than the fighting type gym leader Chuck. After taking down his Machoke with a single Aeroblast, it was then time for our Wartortle to evolve into Big Man Blastoise. With 2 more Aeroblasts, Charizard took down both Poliwrath and Primeape, allowing for our Primplup to evolve into the King Penguin and Polion. Chuck then sent out its last Pokemon, Hitmontop, which met the same exact fate as all of the previous, getting an Aeroblast straight to the dome, and just like that, we've taken down our second gym leader of this run. Wasting no time, we immediately faced off against our rival Ivy once again. This battle was all but climactic, as our beast boosting Charizard bulldozed over every single one of Ivy's Pokemon, without even taking a hit. I think it's safe to say that this Charizard is a certified thug. After robbing 2 little girls for their lunch money, it was then time to fight Gym Leader Cress. Charizard is now standing face to face against a full team of water types, so you would think that the best decision would be to swap into Rillaboom. If you thought this, congratulations, you're wrong. All it took was 1 Aeroblast to the face, and the unstoppable Purple Dragon once again emerged victorious, mopping up all of the water types and flushing them back into the ocean where they belong. After defeating Cress, I ran into a new Pokemon that I could add to my team, Torterra. After doing a bit of damage, I was able to capture Torterra and add it to the starter squad. Oh look, it's a Venusaur! I'm gonna Oh. Never mind. Oh boy, it's Ivy! I wonder how much stronger she's gotten. Surely this rival fight's gonna be significantly harder than the last ones. No? Okay. A few waves later, I ran into Ivy's twin brother and he ended up casting a spell on me. He made me choose between my Pokemon's typing, items, or ability being completely randomized. I ended up choosing the ability since it should be more useful than the regular starter Pokemon abilities. Yeah, this clown still met the same fate as everyone else. Jeez, how many twins does Ivy have? This is getting kinda ridiculous. Shortly after destroying Ivy's bloodline, it was time to fight Brock. He led off with Solrock, and unfortunately I don't think Charizard can handle this one alone, so I swapped into our King Penguin. Brock swapped into Steelix, it got annihilated by Brine immediately. It was at this point that I realized that Empoleon could just sweep through Brock's team. Until I ran into Aerodactyl. This wasn't an issue, however, as Blastoise is a certified Rage Baiter. and I proceeded to toxic stall the rest of Brock's team until I achieved my inevitable victory.
Oh yeah, I forgot to mention that I've been fighting Team Star this entire playthrough up to this point, but none of the battles have been anywhere near close, so I just haven't mentioned it.
On wave 117, I found the last party member that would be joining us for this run, and that was Samurott. It was finally wave 140, and it was time to fight Gym Leader Brassius. His team consisted of a lot of grass types, which you would think would be very easy considering we had our purple monster of a Charizard, but it actually wasn't so simple. He swapped into Sudowoodo and I used Earth Power, which was kind of a questionable decision, but I digress. And once Sudowoodo turned into a grass type, it still wasn't that big of a deal as it was so low that Earth Power took it out anyways. It threw out its Alolan Exeggutor once again, and I just Arrow Blasted it straight to the face and it was eradicated. Now, his next Pokemon was where it became a bit of a problem because this Bramblegast had a Wind Rider, which means Charizard couldn't hit it outside of Earth Power. And to my surprise, this Bramblegast hit like an absolute truck. After landing an Earth Power for not so much damage, I knew it was time to make a sacrifice play. So it just came down to which Pokemon I think would be the most useless. And to me it was Samurott because Empoleon had Steel typing and Blastoise was able to Rage Bait anything. So I sent out Samurott and it got Phantom Force and One Shot, which is crazy considering it was not super effective. But we threw out Charizard for another Earth Power that does significantly less because we don't have our stat boosts anymore. I realized I didn't need to throw in a tank, so the choices were really just between Blastoise and Torchiboom, seeing as I don't think Empoleon would be able to take anything. So I threw in Blastoise, and after a Phantom Force that did 325 damage, I was able to land one Toxic, poisoning the Bramblegast before falling to a Power Whip. Knowing that the poison would likely take Bramblegast down to kill range, I just threw in Charizard and Earth Powered the Bramblegast one more time, which did eventually take it out. From this point forward, this gym fight kind of came reminiscent of all the ones before it, as Brassius threw an Arboliva, which just got an Arrow Blast straight to the face, taking it down in one shot. It did proc its ability Seed Sower, so we did get a little bit of health back after the battle, but it wasn't too important other than that. Leavanny came in and landed a not very effective low kick for minimal damage, but it did catch a super effective Arrow Blast straight to the face for a no-go, so good job Brassius. Brassius' last Pokemon was a Sunflora, which was not very intimidating. With Brassius out of the way, it was time to face a familiar opponent, our rival Ivy. I've pretty much got Ivy's battles, or so I thought. Because turns out Ivy found a shiny Rayquaza somewhere along her journey and now it was my problem to deal with. The initial fear that was instilled within me subdued pretty quickly as I realized that I could still just bulk up in Toxic this Rayquaza and just wait for it to pass. I wanted to take some time in this part of the video just to express my gratitude for whoever got this far. This is like my first project as far as Pokemon videos go. And I just want you guys to know that I appreciate you getting this far, and if you have any feedback, please let me know as I'm looking to get better, as this is something I enjoy doing. So yeah, please leave a like, leave a comment down below, and then if you want to see more, subscribe. Peace. Oh look, Blastoise died. That adds a complication. Not too much complication though, as we still have our other 4 party members left alive, and I'm pretty sure Charizard can just sweep through the rest of this team, landing a super effective Earth Power, so one more will do the trick and grant us a special attack boost, which should allow us to take out another head for Charizard's collection. The last Pokemon we had to face on Ivy's team was her Chestnut, which obviously served no chance against our Charizard, so we just Heat Waved and burnt the weird looking thing into the ground. Remember that Dynamax band from earlier? Well, we finally got the Max Mushrooms, so now we have access to both G-Max Charizard, which looks sick with this new shiny, and G-Max Blastoise, which also was a custom because this is also Tier 2 shiny. With these 2 new G-Maxes, our team is powered up and we're feeling pretty confident. It was time to put that confidence to the final test, as this is our final fight with our rival Ivy. And this time I had a weird feeling that it wasn't going to be as easy as all the previous ones. This battle did start off as normal, however, as she just sent out Chestnut, and we've seen this before, so I know they're going to switch into Tyranitar, so I just Earth Power to get some good chip. This time it does nearly half its health, but still not enough to 2-shot, so I end up switching into Samurott. This switch was admittedly pretty dirty, as Samurott ends up taking a Diamond Storm, and one more would put him out of commission, but predicting another switch, I Icy Wind, which catches the Chestnut and lowers its speed. Seeing the value in Icy Wind, I decided it's probably a good idea to keep Samurott alive, so I do what I did every other fight and switch Charizard back into the fight. Oh, I also knew that this was going to force Chestnut to switch out to probably Tyranitar, which I was correct again, and now Tyranitar was 1 HP off of another Earth Power.
Now, I knew I was faster, so just one more Earth Power would take out Tyranitar, and now it was up to the AI to decide who I face next.
The Pokemon she sent out ended up being the shiny Mega Rayquaza, and knowing that Charizard was about to get Oblivion Winged into the depths of hell, I knew I had to make a sacrifice play, so I threw in Tortaboom, which meets the fate Charizard was going to, and gets taken down immediately. Then, for some reason, I decided it'd be a great idea if I were to throw in Samurott and try to outspeed a Mega Rayquaza, which, as you could probably predict, did not work out in my favor, but it was okay because now I threw in G-Max Blastoise, which had the type advantage, saying as Oblivion Wing and Outrage wouldn't do too much damage to it. After taking an Outrage way better than I thought I would, I decided it'd probably be a good idea to set up on this Rayquaza, saying as I wasn't confident that this Mega Rayquaza could take it out. That was until they swapped the Mega Rayquaza out into Rotom, and all of a sudden, my plan went up in flames because after I Toxic, it ate a berry to get rid of it, which meant I had to use Toxic again. Now, after this Toxic, I ended up getting Shockwave another time, and I wasn't too sure if I could live one more, so I went for a Protect to just get a little bit of extra chip before going for a Shore Up, but unfortunately Blastoise fell before I can get that off. For the first time in this entire run, my back was actually against the wall, and I began to get a little bit nervous, seeing as I only had 2 Pokemon left, and both of them were weak to this Rotom. I was able to land a triple axle with Empoleon, taking out the Rotom, but it was only a matter of time before Chestnut came out and ended up taking out my Empoleon using a Drain Punch. And just like that, the run was on the line, and the only thing between me and having to restart all 200 waves is my G-Max Charizard. But I couldn't think of another Pokemon I'd rather put everything on the line for, as Charizard lands a Dragon Pulse, taking off 1 health bar before hitting another Dragon Pulse, landing a critical hit and taking out Mega Rayquaza in one shot. At this point, I just knew that Charizard did not want to restart this as a little Charmander and have to go through the entire process again. With momentum heavily in our favor, 1 Earth Power was able to take out Arcanine, boosting our special attack even further. And at this point, there was nothing that Ivy could do to stop me, as the Heat Wave takes down their Staraptor, boosting our special attack one more time, ensuring an OHKO against their Terra Grass Chestnut. And with that, the final Heat Wave was launched and Chestnut was taken down, and Ivy was finally defeated for the last time. The time has finally come, Wave 200. And the only thing between us and a victory is Eternatus, the final boss of this game. At this point, I was confident that there was nothing that could take down Charizard, and after seeing the damage that Sludge Bomb did, I was even more confident. And Charizard's Unnerve ability, it makes it so where Eternatus cannot use any of the berries that it takes from me. And this ability was really broken, along with Berserk boosting my special attack. And at this point, I was just spamming Dragon Pulses with Charizard, and I Leech Seeded the Eternatus with Tortaboom. Leech Seed is actually a very good move in this scenario because it does percent-based damage, which means any of the stat boosts that Eternatus gains from any items it may use or any abilities means basically nothing, because the same amount of health is going to be taken away regardless until Tortaboom goes down. That being said, Charizard and Tortaboom managed to stay on the field together for a pretty decent amount of time, and I ended up Terra typing Tortaboom into the Dark type because I was scared that Eternatus would Sludge Bomb him and one-shot him because of the super effective typing. But that just didn't happen as Eternatus continued to Dynamax Cannon Charizard, and Charizard was taking it very well. The Eternatus AI wasn't very smart, to be honest, as it Dynamax Cannon Tortaboom instead of just taking down Charizard, so I got another free hit with Dragon Pulse off. However, Eternatus did learn from its mistake, as in the very next turn, I wasn't able to get another Dragon Pulse off with Charizard, as Eternatus used Dynamax Cannon and finally took down our purple behemoth. But it's okay, because Eternatus was pretty low health, and I was confident that no matter who I sent in next, I'd be able to take it down within a few turns. But unfortunately, that's not how it played out, because Eternatus for some reason knows Recover, and it got nearly up to full health off of one use. I'd be lying to you if I said I wasn't shivering in my boots, but I was still a little bit confident that I'd be able to get it done, as I had 2 steel types on my team, and nothing that Eternatus had would be very effective against either of them, as all the moves that I've seen up to this point, Sludge Bomb, Dynamax Cannon, and Flamethrower, all are resisted by both Empoleon and Blastoise. Speaking of Blastoise, I decided that it's probably about time that I put him in, as I actually put Freeze Dry on him before this fight using a Memory Mushroom,
just because I knew Eternatus was weak to ice and I couldn't poison it since it's a poison type. This decision proved to be very useful as Brassius ended up doing a lot more damage than Empoleon did, and certainly more than Tortaboom. Outside of Leech Seed, of course, because Leech Seed has been putting work in this entire fight, and I'm pretty sure Tortaboom isn't even capable of dying at this point, because that was a critical hit that Eternatus just landed on it, and it did nothing. But with one more hit from Leech Seed, Eternatus fell, and we have officially completed beating PokeRogue with only starter Pokemon.